We are back into UP, baby! Riding the 15-mile mass start polar roll left me wanting more. As much as I enjoyed the event, it seemed tame, lacking the misery and gritty determination that I've come to associate with a 906 event. So after getting home, I schemed with my buddy Dan to go back up and ride the 30-mile EX route together. He was game, since he'd missed the mass start. We drove up to Marquette, did some trail recon, then prepared ourselves for what we thought would be a fun roll through the forests of northern Michigan. The day started as planned. Get up, eat breakfast, and start riding shortly after sunrise.
Have a good ride. You too.
We decided to ride from the hotel since it was a relatively short ride into town. The freshly groomed snowmobile trail was softer than expected, but provided a false sense of ease at the start of our day. We made it to the ore dock and set out on the EX30 route. Presque Isle was the first landmark on our ride. The Lakeshore Trail made for easy pedaling, and we soon found ourselves bumping along Peter White Drive.
Woohoo!
We paused to appreciate Sunset Point.
Fun little downhill.
Yeah, that was fun.
Always fun to not have to.
Then continued on our way. The North Trail started out great. Easy Peasy was packed and sunny, as was Blue Heron. Sure, we had a few hiccups, but we can blame that on our lack of technical practice.
My tire wandered. Just a little bit too much.
There are no local mountain bike trails near us, so most of our riding is on gravel roads or indoor trainers. On top of that, UP trails can be hazardous, even when you stop.
Whoop! That'll teach me for wanting a picture.
Step off the groom and you'll end up floundering in the snow. Yes, this happened many times during the day.
Oh gosh. Jeez, all Lou. Why am I having so much trouble? Pay attention, bub.
Working our way across Upper Blue Heron was a bit frustrating at times. The snow dog passed us, giving the trail a fresh groom, but that meant that we were riding on soft snow instead of a tire-packed groom. Airing down helped, but not as much as we'd have liked.
See if that helps at all.
Occasionally, colorful arches with ornaments and lights crossed the trail, which added some levity to the situation. At that point, we reached Wildcat. I'd been anxious about this trail all day, and boy was that concern well-founded. The entire trail was covered by rollers, packed close enough together that as your rear wheel rolled down the previous bump, your front wheel was already climbing the next one. Getting a rhythm to pump or pedal was impossible for much of the trail.
Wildcat, so far, has been a lot of hiking. And I don't think that's going to stop soon. I tried to get on my bike. And I tipped over. Don't teach me to try to ride out here. Ride my bike on a bike trail for a bike event. Why would I do that when I could push my bike? I will say, this is more along the lines of what I expected from Polar Roll.
The single track in front of us cut enough of a groove that it often trapped our own wheels, throwing us off balance.
No. Gosh, darn stupid snow.
But there were some highlights.
How big will it get? Oh, there we go.
Needless to say, we struggled to make progress. The 1.5-mile long trail took us an hour to traverse, with very little riding.
I don't like pull on a wheelie every time you go up and down. Especially you got that weight on the back.
Ramblin' Man was the same story, but somewhat more rideable as we were aimed downhill this time.
This is more like it. Woo.
Emphasis on somewhat. Towards the end of the segment, I was tired of the slow progress and wasted some extra energy forcing myself to ride out. That probably wasn't the best tactic for endurance, but I really didn't care.
I'm about 5.5 hours into the ride, getting close to the end of the North Trails. Making progress. We made it this far, and we're gonna keep on going.
Marquette had its own ups
Well, you know Todd, always improving the experience.
and downs, but our minds were focused on one thing: lunch.
Double quarter pounder for here. All right, thank you.
By the parking lot. We were pushing 80-90% of that.
Definitely burned a couple of matches there, but I was just tired of getting on and off the bike.
It's a struggle. That'll be a struggle this next.
We're getting there.
It was mid-afternoon and we were only halfway done, so we restocked and rolled out to face the southern trails. Surprisingly, the connector trail turned out to be the crux of the day. The single snowmobile track wasn't rideable, so our best approach was to let our bikes follow a ski while we hiked down the tread. This was slow and discouraging, but then we encountered a groomer going the other way.
What time did you start?
Like 8.
Yeah.
We
You guys are crazy. All right, good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Given the warm weather and resulting trail conditions, he recommended getting to the closest road, bailing, and coming back out in the morning.
We're closer pushing to Grove than we are going back to the last street.
Kind of about pretty equal because this has got a lot of.
AccuWeather still showing 37, but sunlight.
Oh yeah, the sun's killing it. That's the worst out of everything.
I'd go to Grove.
Because if we go that way, we're done. I mean, I'm not backtracking and then coming back again.
We're tearing up the trail either way, so we might as well make some progress for it.
And
And then,
make that assessment call.
yeah.
We settle on moving forward, instead of backwards, to the next crossing and evaluate there. The next 10 minutes were quiet as we faced the looming possibility of quitting. Dan had made his peace with that, having ridden Polar World previously, but I was struggling with the idea. Admittedly, I'm relatively new to the 906 Adventure Team events. They appeal to me because the focus isn't on podiums. Yes, there are perks to being fast, but the primary goal is self-improvement. Finding your limits, destroying them, and raising that bar even higher. So while I'm not fast, it's hard for me to give up or back down from a challenge once I've accepted it. And this was my opportunity to ride the Polar Roll 30 this year. If I quit, we didn't have time to start over before having to drive home. If I quit, I'd have to wait a full year to make another attempt. My heart was heavy with disappointment. Then the groomer caught up with us again.
oh dear.
He was glad we'd continued forward and assured us that continuing wouldn't damage the trail. With more snow in the forecast, everything would have to be groomed anyway. So, we pushed on. Even rode much of East Grey Walls and Smiley. But that was too good to last.
We are ignoring the groom to go this way. And to think we were worried about messing up the groom. One might question, what groom? Why would Todd use groomed trails? The answer is, he doesn't. We're still going.
Welcome to West Grey Walls. Deep snow only touched by one similarly foolish person and their bike traveling side by side. The next half hour was an icy hell. No knowing how long this would last, our boots sloshing with every step.
What other trail do you see?
Dan was over this adventure. He swore he'd sell his bike when we got home. Give our buddy an end-of-season special. Up to this point, finishing in daylight seemed possible, but the slow progress quickly removed all hope, leaving only grim determination to finish what we started. And, while Todd often reminds us that there is no finish line, there was an end to that trail, and the groom did reappear.
What mile mark are we at?
27 point something.
Really? 27 is all?
Yeah, we are almost there.
Yeah, I know you're lying on that one. Be forewarned, if we get more into that, I might be calling. Like I said, I'll pick you up. I was getting frustrated with that. Obviously, you can tell it's never been groomed. They pushed snow up in front of it. It was fun on the bump, but
That's part of the experience.
my legs don't even know how to pedal. They used to walk.
It seemed like a miracle to ride again. It was certainly a relief, as sunset was fast approaching.
We are on the enchantment loop, and I'm ready to be done. We've been on course for about 10 hours, half hour to sundown.
We'd passed the point of no return and were headed towards the finish, doggedly pedaling on, trying to cover as much ground as possible before turning on our lights, all the while laughing at our comments that morning in the hotel. If we need our lights, something's gone terribly wrong. While nothing was actually wrong, this ride certainly hadn't gone to plan.
Benson grade, baby!
Riding down from the muster point was a well-earned comfort. The wilderness was behind us, and we knew the final 4 miles were all rideable and fast, downhill or flat, with one short section of climbing. Essentially, home free.
Almost there.
But the unexpectedly long day had taken its toll, and the snowmobiles had churned Cliff Power Road into slush. So after more pedaling, more pushing, and continued perseverance, we returned to the ore dock, half frozen, wholly exhausted, and satisfied.
Nicely done. Yeah, that was a bit more than we bargained for.
All in all, a good adventure. We stayed out longer than anticipated, hiked more than we'd hoped, but survived. Each received our green dot and had some fun along the way. Many thanks to Dan for sharing my misery, and the 906 Adventure Team for challenging us, and others like us, to do hard things.